I am Michelle with two L's.
And I'm Natalie the Red.
And we are Force of I Entertainment. And today we're here to talk about the ongoing Gina Carano, Whoopi Goldberg situation we got going, because it seems that Twitter, who likes to get people for misinformation, has put out a little bit of misinformation themselves on one Gina Carano. And of course, all this has kind of started because Gina began to trend yesterday as she tweeted out. Of course, Whoopi Goldberg made some really ridiculous statements, horrible statements about the Holocaust. At least her opinions were bad. And I would just like to say too, I do not think that Whoopi Goldberg should be fired for her statements. I don't believe in canceling someone because they put their foot in their mouth and said something that was stupid, especially if they're willing to apologize and all that. But what she said was pretty. I mean, everyone, even on The View,
a little out there.
Even Joyce was like,
I think it's Joy.
Joy.
But I love that you call her for the wrong name.
But even Joy.
Joyce.
Yeah, Joy. Well, she doesn't have much joy. So, but anyways, I don't believe, I just want to state that I do not believe that she should be fired.
Right.
But
yeah, I agree.
I did not also believe that Gina Carano should have been fired for her Instagram post that Disney fired her for. And of course, Whoopi is on ABC, which is owned by Disney. And so Gina Carano tweeted out the other day, 2 weeks to slow the double standard. Of course, because of course Whoopi Goldberg got suspended for 2 weeks, where Gina got fired, and Gina said much less than what Whoopi said. And again, I don't believe Whoopi should be fired.
Right.
But
we try and be fair and balanced around here.
Yeah, because the bottom line is, people sometimes, when they're public figures, even YouTubers, you say things that maybe even came out the wrong way, or maybe just kind of, I don't know, we're in a certain mood and just kind of dug your heels into something, and later you're like, you know what, that wasn't right. I shouldn't have said that.
And probably shouldn't have, looking back.
And that's where we have to realize that sometimes people's opinions, they're not troublesome to the point that they should be canceled.
Right. Yeah.
I mean, words are different than actions. And I do believe, obviously, in free speech. So that's kind of the setup. So let's see what Twitter had to say as Gina Carano began to trend yesterday as the Whoopi Goldberg situation has come about. And thank you for Price of Reason for tweeting this out. But Twitter, this is what Twitter put. Following Whoopi Goldberg's 2-week suspension from The View for comments regarding the Holocaust, people discussed actor Gina Carano's firing from Disney series The Mandalorian for comments comparing COVID-19 restrictions to the Yahtzee treatment of Jewish people. And I just want us to focus on that, because that is literally, Twitter, misinformation.
It's just like, oh my goodness, as you're reading it.
Yes, because Gina Carano, let's say what she was fired for. She was fired for posting something on Instagram, which she actually deleted when she saw it was such a problem. Or no, I don't think she did delete it. And honestly, why should she have? But she posted something on Instagram that was talking about how in the Yahtzees, how they got the German people to see the Jewish people as their enemy.
Right.
And it questioned what's any different than viewing, different political parties as your enemy.
And kind of teaching people, through the media, through all these different things, to kind of hate their neighbor.
Yes.
Othering them.
Yes. And we've seen people be othered, maybe who haven't gotten the jab. I believe I saw recently a poll that said, I believe it was almost like 49% of people on the left thought basically they were cool with kind of the restrictions given to people who have not received the jab and things like that. So that there is that othering again, and making people the enemy, which is what Gina's post was actually about. In fact, it didn't have anything to do with COVID-19. It just had to do with making sure we don't begin to look at someone on the other side of the political aisle.
Different opinion, bad.
Yes.
Awful,
as the enemy.
Less valuable as a person.
Yes. And of course it did have that comparison of Nazi Germany, which guess what? In history, that happens a lot. It's literally called the Nazi effect, where people compare everything to that because it's the worst thing we can think of, and we use that as a comparison. And she even later said, when talking to Ben Shapiro, who is Jewish, that she, kind of regretted using that.
Right.
And honestly, in what she said, I don't even think it was problematic, but she even, apologized for it.
Yeah.
When she was asked, as did Whoopi Goldberg, when she was, I think, from The View, people put on to other channels to apologize.
Right.
But again, the double standard, as Gina rightfully pointed out, is very much real. We all see it. We all know this is the same company. One of them makes a worse comment and gets 2 week suspension. The other, for an Instagram post that actually had nothing to do, Twitter, with COVID-19 restrictions, gets fired and publicly shamed and humiliated by the same company.
Yes. Yeah.
So it's all just it's ridiculous. It's sad. It's sad that these companies apparently do only like to work with people of the same mindset as them. It's kind of a sad place in America if we've come to that place. But
because I think it's like, for them, God forbid, somebody that has a platform use it to put out their different ideas in the mainstream narrative, whatever that is at the time. You can't have that. So
yes, definitely. And you've even seen that recently with Evangeline Lilly, which I won't get into that because this platform doesn't really like that discussion. But you can Google that.
You might should have not said her name.
But anyways, the thing with Gina, I just wanted to point that out because Twitter, as they saw people she was trending, I just thought it was interesting that they literally went to bat basically for Disney and represented wrongfully what she was fired for.
Yes, so, as they do.
Yeah. So misinformation from Twitter. That's what we're calling that. We're going to call that out today.
Fact checkers have been doing our research.
We are the force of light fact checkers, and we call you misinformation Twitter. We call out your misinformation,
and we approve this message.
But anyways, everyone, we support free speech, freedom of speech, and we love Gina Carano still. So, but anyways, that is it for today's episode or today's video. If you are not yet, go ahead and hit the subscribe button. Also give the video a thumbs up. And as always, ladies and gentlemen, remember to be a force of light. All right. Bye, guys.